I did not want to be in any design ecosystem. I wanted to be an actress. Why do I do what I do? For three things: global recognition for Africa and Africans, global representation, and global competition. I want us to be recognized for who we are with what we have. I want us to be represented in the international scene, and I want us to be able to favorably compete with our counterparts in other parts of the world. You have to respect your own self too. Because why you as a designer in this day and age collecting 10K for logo design?
If you want to talk to me direct. Don't go through the corners.
When we design for human beings, we need to understand what makes them tick. And it starts with data like their age, gender, cultural background, their profession, their location, their challenges, their likes, their dislikes, their goals in life. And because we lack that structure for beginners, we end up breeding incompetent intermediate and professional designers. Designers think that the people that make money are the ones that are able to design again, but the ones that are able to sit down and think are the ones that actually make the cool cash. If you want to get attention, you need to be able to master consistency, not excellence, consistency. If design is not working, look for what works. At the end of the day, now make you shall chop. Now be the first thing. You chop no mean say I no go chop. I chop no mean say you no go chop. There's someone for everyone. There's a client for everybody. Hello, I am Chukwu Adaeze Victoria, and if you like, don't listen to this. Hello, I am Chukwu Adaeze Victoria, and you are listening to Designstration podcast with Ufot Obon. Design plus illustration equals Designstration.
Hello everyone, you're welcome back to the Designstration podcast. I am Ufot Obon. I am your host for this podcast. And today with me, I have an exceptional guest, a very fine guest. In fact, whenever I get any opportunities to talk about African designs that oozes Africanness, that speaks volume of where you're from, this very guest always make that list. She's one designer I know for sure that can actually pull up to a design event rocking the African gele and, giving us back to back from that Eastern ways. It's no other person than the incredible Lolo One of African designers, Victoria Chukwu Adaeze. Please. This time we must actually add drum rolls. We must add drum rolls. Thank you very much, Adaeze, for being on the podcast. How have you been?
Nigeria has been happy to me, but we are fine.
Yes, we're fine. We're doing fine. It's the new year. How are you settling into the new year?
It has been amazing, actually. I don't want to go into the long story because I want to keep it on track, but I had really cool conversations with some people and got to some really cool conclusions, some very cool directions, and I'm excited to see what I'm able to do, with those, with the plan that that gives birth to this year.
That's great. That's really great. I love to converse with designers, creatives, actually in general, not just designers, right?
Yeah.
On this podcast to share insights, their stories, how the journey has been, the success stories, their struggles, and how they overcame, and all these things, so that we can have a backlog of where we can always go back to draw strength and draw inspiration, and also learn valuable insight, even as we apply these things to our own career path. And over the years, I have followed you, I have seen your works, and I know for a fact that your story is actually one that would inspire a lot, even as it has also inspired me, right? I'm talking about what I've seen you post, Right. So getting today to do this with this particular episode with you, it's really a pleasure for me.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure for me. So Ada, tell us your story. What's your background like? How did you come into the design ecosystem?
Let me start off by saying I did not want to be in any design ecosystem. I did not want to be
Wow.
here. I did not know about here. I didn't. I did not know about what this thing is. I did not want to be part of it. What I wanted to do was be on TV. I wanted to be an actress. But my
Oh
mom,
wow.
yeah, when I told her that, hey, I want to go and study theater arts in school, yeah, and all that, but like, nope. I've seen a lot of uh female, a lot of actresses get divorced, maybe have one issue or the other with their marriage. So anyway, I didn't want to do design. I didn't know design at the time. I told my mom I wanted to be an actress, and she was like over her dead body because at the time of news around actresses, either they are not married or when they get married, their marriage
Mm-hmm.
crashes. And when she sees them on in some movies, they are half dressed, undressed, probably acting out one kind of scene that is erotic or the
Yeah.
other. She was like, "This can never be my daughter." She get that kind of thing. So, so she
Yeah.
should just assume that that's what actresses do, coming from the level of education that she has and all that at the time. So she was like, okay, to compromise, let me go and study mass communication instead at LASU. And I was like, she was like, there's still small theater arts then now, you'll be okay. I was like, okay, no, well, let me go and what's the theater arts. See, the theater art that is inside mass communication, this 10 naira. Very tiny bit. So, but I kind of compromised and I studied mass communication. And to be honest, mass communication has kind of influenced my journey and how I actually see design, to be honest, right? So
Mm.
I did mass communication. I met really great people in the university, and after I finished university, I went for my NYSC. I finished NYSC, and then a friend of mine was like, okay, which way Nigeria, where are we going with this career like this? And now that we have come out with our BSc in broadcasting and
Mm-hmm.
mass communication and all of that, what's the next thing? So we said, let's go and look for radio station that will work, We started looking for radio station. They almost come us a couple of times because we're looking for where we could actually practice
Wow.
what we studied, right? So it got to a point, we're super frustrated. The job market at that time was not very friendly, especially to women, to be fair, right? But we're not like, okay, she just told me one day that, hey, there's this guy that does all this art. She doesn't really know design like that, but she knows that he does posters and designs flyers for businesses and for their friends and does small cartoon here and there. So she was like, I gotta learn this thing now. Me, I know that you have like artistic tendencies, so just learn it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like I was very skeptical because I was like, waiting, this bro, like, allow me to hold mic and talk, say, my name is Chukwu Adaeze Victoria, welcome to the 9 o'clock news. That was well, she after we had quote unquote escaped from one of the radio stations that we wanted
Mm-hmm.
to that turned out to be basically. She was like, let's just stroll now. And then we started strolling. And before you know it, we entered one study house. And she was like, oh yeah, this is the guy I was talking about. He knows blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, you should negotiate. And I just went ahead. I just went to what he said. I didn't even like struggle with her. He said I should pay 10K per month. So I told my dad that he said 15K. If you see my dad on help me and block him. So every month I had extra 5K to with, but I still took
Mm-hmm.
the what I was learning from him seriously. So he taught me. He didn't really teach me like in systematic, but he did teach me the tools in Photoshop, and I was
Mm.
motivated enough to go and learn the rest on my own. So I went online every single day. I would go. I'm not joking. Like 7 days a week, I would go and learn something new about Photoshop. just it would be about how to use the pen tool better, how to do some effects, how to create some stuff in when I'm creating a flyer, poster, logo, anything like that. Just something I just wanted to pick up new knowledge, because I now found myself in a space where I was very excited. Like he showed me how to create a detergent pack from scratch. Now we are using mock-ups, but that time you will create the mock-up yourself using understanding how to apply shadow, understanding how to apply light. You tell you to search for images online, and you will bring those images and then model the way the shadow was reflecting on those images. And it was so fascinating to me for me to see, the things that I was able to create. So that's basically my foundation in design. My foundation in design was Muiz and Feintola. Feintola took me to Muiz, and Muiz showed me the ropes with Photoshop. And then I took the baton, one of them. I shall carry touch, and then moved from there. So that's basically my background in a nutshell.
Wow. It's truly truly inspiring to actually see that it wasn't even what you like thought about before, like really thought about before. It was just it's just all of a sudden. It just came out of the blue, right? It wasn't in the schedule, and it just came out of the blue. And that versus now, seeing the works you put out now, I mean, it's who would have thought? Who would have thought to that point? That's truly inspiring. And what inspired your unique African team designs? Because whenever I talk about, there are 4 designers that I can think of. Like if you wake me at night and you say I should mention 4 designers who give names to 4 designers whose design oozes the Africanness, and it just breathes life into it. And these are the 4 names that always come to mind. These 4 names: you, Julie, the illustrator, Fungi,
absolutely,
and Chisa, that's Jiga. These are the 4. These 4 names always come to mind. Of course, I know there may be others, right? Who also whose design they are unapologetic about African designs. It's just there, and I love that. So, what really inspires that part for you?
I feel like our own story our story is being told, but our story is not being told from our own perspective enough. I remember watching a TikTok video and that video enraged me, where the discoverers, in quotes, during the colonial era, right? So I'm not going to give him a name. One random guy came to Africa, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I have discovered this land. Oh, let me go back and report to my people." And then he went back and told them, "Oh, we need to come and liberate these people. We need to bring them religion. We need to, because they are like savages and all of that." So that history, I see it still playing to some extent today, because the African story is not being told by the African to a very, very large extent. When you own, let's say, a place like CNN or Fox News, international news outlets, and you want to create a database of the African stories that they tell, you'll find that a lot of them are the negative narrative. Oh, this plane crash happened in Nigeria. Oh, this government stole this amount of money. Oh, these people killed 1 million people in Kaduna. They are always carrying the negative aspect. They never see this woman that I've forgotten her name now. I'm so sorry. That uses waste, pure water nylon, to create really stunning materials like traveling bags and all of that, school bags and all that.
I've seen that too.
They don't talk about the guy that uses fire to create art. Like he literally burns to create art. They don't talk about Julie that sits down with Photoshop and creates an entire system of core cultural scenes. That's SCENE now, right? They don't talk about all those people. They
Yes.
don't talk about Chisa that creates African typography,
Yes.
right? So if they don't talk about Chisa, if they don't talk about Julie needs to talk about Julie. If they don't talk about Adaeze and what Adaeze has done, Adaeze needs to talk about Adaeze, right? Adaeze needs
True.
to also talk
Yeah.
about Julie. Adaeze needs to talk about her culture and what brought me to where I currently am. Adaeze needs to allow the African spirit to influence her design the way other people are allowing. Have you seen Asian designs? Oh Lord, you cannot
Oh
miss
my.
here. Even if you are standing
Oh
on the
my.
mountain and they
Yeah.
put it at the foot of the mountain, you will know because the culture is deeply infused in the choice of color, in the choice of fonts, in the copies, in imagery, in their illustrations, in it's everywhere, all encompassing. That's where I'm hoping that we are going to get to, right? Where
Yeah.
brands and businesses come to Africa, want to speak to African audience, but they have to use African elements to tell that story. Because if you go to Asia and you want to speak to that target audience over there, you cannot be using Western design style.
True.
That's why when you see
Exactly.
their posters and you think it's jaga jaga, you think it's scattered. It's not scattered. It's designed based on their culture, based on their background. So why do I do what I do? For three things: global recognition for Africa and Africans, global representation, and global competition. Three things: recognition, representation, and competition. I want us to be recognized for who we are with what we have. I want us to be represented in the international scene, and I want us to be able to favorably compete with our counterparts in other parts of the world.
Wow. This is indeed actually a very visionary um reason to actually launch out the way you do. I think it was Abel who tweeted that tweet. I'm not entirely sure. But I think it was Abel who tweeted that tweet. Abel Idume. He mentioned something about when will we have a sort of our own marking scheme rather than just verting and using a different yardsticks to judge African sort of design, something within that context. I'm paraphrasing. And I really see a possibility of that happening, should designs as of what you do come up to play, because truly, yes, you like you earlier mentioned, there are some things that are happening in the country big time in Africa as a whole that is not getting global recognitions, right? And diverse things would add to it as to why it's not getting it. And truly, our story is ours. And if we don't start sharing them, well, who will? Who will? Just like what you said, who will share Adaeze's story if Adaeze doesn't say it? Who will talk about Julie? Who will talk about the foundries that Chisa is starting up and the typography that are coming into the real space? I mean, look, I saw the Okwoto thing. I was like, okay, what is Okwoto? I didn't know. But then I started asking questions that Chisa is working on with the foundry, or the foundry. And it's beautiful to see the cultural parts coming to reflect even in our designs. And these things are actually, I think it's a way of also preserving our culture and our storyline with modern tools that we have. And it's truly inspiring. It is. Can you walk us through your typical design process on one of your postal designs, or one of your photo manipulation? What does it take to create one of those stunning posters?
I want to preface by saying, to whoever is listening to this as a designer, your process is important. Your process is so important that you make or break your output. And your output will make or break your image, how people see you, and the kind of perception that they have about you when they see your work, right? I had to cement and create a process that works well for me. So that's why I wanted to start with that, because I need to let people know that my process is tailored to me. But if you want to tiff am, you are free to tiff am and use for you. That's it. but always be open to relating to changing, moving things around according to what works best for you as a designer, as a person, right? My the first step for me in my process is understanding the brief. And understanding the brief is more than just understanding what the client has written down. It also involves understanding the emotional need of the client and the emotional need of the client's target audience, right? So we have gotten to an age where people are not just buying stuff because they feel like buying it, right? They still buy stuff because they feel like buying it, but a lot of the time, where you you have a person or a couple of people that are strongly loyal to a brand these days, is because those brands have some certain values that aligns with their own personal value, right? So when I want to understand, when I want to start the first process of understanding the brief, I need to understand what is the impact that this brand wants to make. What is the connection that they want to make, with their target audience, right? I need to understand that in depthly, right? If it comes down to it, I would even write keywords that the client has said. If you say, oh, I want a bold facing, I don't write bold facing. I want a strong, I don't write strong. African, I don't write African, right? Emotional, I don't write emotional. I want something that, oh, I don't write them. Should you get? Because all of those things are what is going to kind of feature in the next part of my process, which is research, right? Very, in fact, see, research is do or die. I'm sorry. In fact, I'm not sorry, self, right? Research, you cannot escape it. You cannot do without it. You can, because the knowledge that we have is not that has already existed, but we are building upon. There's already an existence of knowledge. Whatever knowledge you come up with, that shit already existed for much. It already existed before, but you are now just building on it. So when you have had your discovery meeting and you said, oh, this point and that point is what this brand is trying to make, this impact and that impact is what the brand is the appeal they are trying to make, the brand appeal, this is what their target audience is expecting, this is who they are, this is where they live, this is, you have done all of those things. Now it's time for you to do research into the kind of things that appeals to all these things, the kind of things that brings them to reality. And it starts with you looking for people that have already done it to some extent. That's what research is. So, oh, the typography you want to use, okay, search for typography that is like that that already exists. Color palette, oh, okay, so look for a color palette that already gives off that emotion, that feeling you want to give off, right? It could be a combination of color palettes. It doesn't have to be one. It could be that, oh, this green over here works with this blue here. So you bring them together into your mood board, right? Which is the next part. So after you have done your research, you've gathered all your information, you have researched even your copy, the content, gather everything and you put it in your mood board, right? Which is another important part of my process, mood boarding. I don't start this, even if I have done 1 job million times and I have bought those first 2 million jobs and I want to do something new that is still within that field, I will create a new mood board. For instance, I'm currently designing a 50-something page report for where I work. I can't, it's a big brand, but I can't name it right now, right? So I have done reports before. I've done pitch decks before. Multiple. If you see how many mood boards I have for reports and pitch decks alone, right? But these particular people, they allowed me to create a visual system around what I wanted to create. Not design system, more like a visual system, like the icons you want to use, the illustrations and all of that. I had to hand draw some things, right? So establishing the visual system means that I needed to create a unique mood board for these people because they are not the same as the other people I've worked with, despite the fact that it's still a report. So the name of what I'm doing is the same, but the brand is different. So I am creating a mood board for each individual brand, not the kind of work I'm doing. So after creating the mood board, the next thing is digital execution. So it could be that I go to my Photoshop or I go to Illustrator or for this report that I'm doing it strictly on, not strictly, but majorly on Google Slides, right? Because they want it to be editable.
Okay.
So after digital execution, then you submit for feedback. Then comes the last part of my process, which is feedback implementation. And one of the things I would like to highlight for that particular process is that feedback is not you are a bad designer. Feedback, no,
Yeah.
feedback does not mean you are a terrible person. We hate you. Feedback is, oh, this thing you have created is fine on the general sense, but it does not emotionally connect with me yet, or it does not align with the goals that I have for my brand, or the goals I have for this campaign, or the goals that I have for how I want to communicate with my audience. It does not mean that we want you to go and jump in front of trailer. It means Faraday, calm down, and
Yeah.
look at it from my perspective. That's what it means, right? So, although you're professional, you also need to you need to be able to create an emotional connection, with your clients, and also help them build emotional connections with their audience. And that means you need to first of all understand what they are saying in the communication aspect. You need to understand what they are saying when they give you feedback, and be able to effectively implement those feedbacks while still maintaining the principles of design. So yeah, that's basically my process from top to bottom.
Wow, this is well detailed, very well detailed. So you go through understanding the brief. If you have to write down keywords, you do it. If the
Yeah.
brand is speaking, you write. If they say emotional, you write it down. If they say African, you write it down. From there, after understanding the brief, you launch into research. You do your thorough research. Talked about it like this is the knowledge that we have, right? That are already existing knowledge that we actually build upon. We build on. Do deep research, even the more intense. From the research process, you launch into mood boarding. You put all these things together, the fonts, the colors, and everything. And this thing takes time, right? This thing takes time. Then you go into digital execution. Okay, which software should I use to do this? How do we do this? And after that, you submit for feedback, and you get feedback implementation. Now, you mentioned something about now feedback doesn't mean they don't like you. You see, it's nothing personal.
Exactly.
But Adaeze, there was a time when someone said my work was rubbish,
Okay.
and this was after. I think it was after we were actually having a time crush, right? We had the project. It was a project we were supposed to finish at the very, very, very fast, and
Okay.
I put out the project, and no, I went for the presentation. I presented. It was a brand design project. I did my presentation. And there was one of the senior designers also who brought me on board on that project. Who I would love to keep him anonymous. He brought me on board on that project as a brand designer.
Okay.
And the stakeholders saw the project and they said, well, the slides are fine, but this is just rubbish. Adaeze, I put in work. Like I literally put in the work to do that project. And I understand it's feedback. Sometimes it doesn't mean I shouldn't take it personal. But how would you advise someone, designers, right, to handle constructive feedbacks that are actually destructive, like literally destructive?
Okay. So let me give you the delusional solution, right? Before I now go into like technical, part of it. When
Yeah.
I and this is a question for you now.
Okay.
Valentine is coming, right? And I say,
Yeah.
oh, well, I want to give you a gift. And I come to your house and I deliver that gift to you. The gift is neatly wrapped, right? What exactly do you do?
Yeah.
What's your process for, I give you the gift. What do you do with your gift?
After saying thank you, I'd go and unbox my gift. Yeah.
Okay. So which part do you keep? The thing I gave you or the box?
I'll keep the box, not the wrap.
Okay. So I give you the gift, you keep the gift, and you trash the wrapper. The way I see it
Yes, I'll trash the wrapper.
now, right, is the gift I gave to you is the content of what I'm saying, and then the wrapper is how I said it. Do you get
deep?
The
Yes.
gift is the content, the actual content of what I'm saying, and the wrapper is the way I said it. Oh, talk to me, the client with clients. Morning to night, client to always client. That's just people feel like because they are paying you money, they owe you, or they have the
Exactly.
right to abuse you, right? And that's that's like a personal thing to them. For me, in that kind of situation, what I would do, right? Because I think as an artist, you understand that there are different forms of art, there are different types of art. In fact, you can have 10 artists and tell them to draw the face of a young woman, and they will draw it in completely different ways. Some people will use geometric shapes. Some people will do it the way fintech illustrations look, very distinct with strokes and all of that. Some people will make it look almost ephemeral, like Victorian era art. Right? No, me, I look at Victorian era art. It's the same young woman, oh, but I'll look at Victorian era art and say this is rubbish. But then I'll look at what's his name now? Agbaje, I've forgotten what his name is. Sorry, I'm going to face his names, right? This guy that designs like really cool illustrations. He likes the color red a lot, right? And I think
Olamide Agumbiade.
Yes, I think Agumbiade or something like that.
Yes,
right?
Agumbiade, yes. Olamide Agumbiade.
Oh, yeah, Olamide, yes, that's his name, Olamide, right? So the way Olamide illustrates, different from how Julie illustrates, do you get?
Yes.
But then you will look at what some people will look at what Julie has done, or look at what Olamide has done and say this is rubbish. I like Julie's own better. So in that kind of situation, you know what I would do? I would create a mood board, multiple mood boards with different kinds of art, and say, oh, this is the Julie type, this is the other type, this is the Ubon type, this is the Victorian era type. Okay, one of these appeals to you. Oh, I like this Victorian era type. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, that means I'm not the designer for you. Let me get a designer that is able to do this thing. Because what exactly is your goal as the artist, as designer? Is the success of the project. Somebody called me recently. I was like, oh, I want you to come and teach digital marketing. I'll give you all the materials. I'll pay you a certain amount of money. And I told him, no, I need you to double my amount. And he was like, no, that's not in our budget at this time. And I was like, okay, no problem. I get it. Let me get you something that fits your budget. And he was like, why am I saying that? That don't I want to work with him? And I have to explain to him that it's nothing personal for me. The goal at the end of the day, your success. I want you to be able to get to a point where you have successfully executed this digital marketing training. And it doesn't matter to me whether I'm the one that does it or not. That's what I want you to take that memory away from me, that Adaeze wanted Adaeze strictly wants the success of African brands. If you like, stand on my neck. The thing I can do at the end of the day to save my mental health is to gently break up with you. I can say, oh, I have other projects at this time. I'm not able to continue with one. Or I'm not able to continue with this project due to unfavorable conditions like XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Right? So you have that control. But when somebody says, oh, this work is rubbish, you can ask, oh, sir, what exactly do you mean? Is there any part of it that you don't find that doesn't align with the goals of this particular project? Or can I send you a mood board with different types of art styles so that you can pick the one that resonates better with you? And you will see how we move. The way you handle that situation will probably determine when projects begin. Because now you have shown that you are able to rise above. You are able to rise above that challenge, above that obstacle. Do you understand?
Yes.
On the other end, there's the other technical part of it, which is not a client's problem but a designer problem. Now, a lot of us suffer from God complex. That thing happens to create of something. You want to be God. You want to be like able to declare. You know, in the Bible, it said God created everything and he said it was good.
It was good.
Right?
Yeah.
But
okay.
You as a human being,
yes.
if they put snake for your house, you go say it's good. But now God create the snake now. Sure you they get. Sure you get. So said it was good. But the person that needed it said it was not. And that's God complex. That's the struggle between man, which is client in this case, and God, which is designer in this case. She gets. So the struggle with feedback implementation happens when I, as a designer, have designed something that I feel is the best, but you now come with a sample that you feel is best for you, and then we now enter fight. So my history with clients most times is that I am always struggling with them based on my own ego. But the moment I decided to drop my ego and use my expertise to drop my ego and use my logic instead, I've had better client relationship. That okay, what I am designing is not only centered around what I think is best as a designer, but what is also best for my client and what is best that they think is good for their own audience, because they will know their audience better than you. Are we?
Wow.
Are we?
Honestly, I'm
It's
taking
sweeting
notes.
me.
Oh
Oh
my
God,
goodness. No, no,
yo,
no. Oh my
this
goodness.
podcast is sweeting me. Okay,
It just feels like I want to start this design learning again. Like, let me go.
yeah,
Honestly, you are actually dropping vital, valid information at this
yeah,
point. It is. And I'm actually reflecting on quite a number of things. I truly am reflecting on quite a number of things. Wow. I am let me catch my breath, please. Give me a moment. This is okay. Okay. That's okay. Let's move on. Wow. Truly you're right. You're right. Sometimes it's just that we want to pride in the sayings that I did it once, there was no feedback, there was no changes, and it was accepted. And that's it. Okay. Okay. I would recover from this. I will move on. Let's with the same spirit, right? Let's talk about designing for humans, right?
yeah,
The relationship between people and the products in this context where we're still talking about, right? We're not doing um uh OCD, right? Or God-centered design where it has to be my way or no other way, or it's if it's not this color, then that one would not work. It's no, we're designing for humans. At the end of the day, humans end up using the product, so we want to connect the product to human, and we want to move through the bridge of emotions. We want to move through the bridge of. It shouldn't always be just about aesthetics. I want you to touch on that subject also.
okay. So I'm going to look at it from three perspectives, right? I'm going to look at it
Okay.
from designing for humans, and we are going to put in a bracket clients, right? Designing for clients, because you also said, oh, organ center design and all that. I get it. Secondly, designing for humans as audience. So the first one is the clients, the second one is the people that
Client,
are going to consume that
audience.
product and pay you, right? Then the last one is designing for humans as the product. So the human beings are now the product. They're the people that are being sold, not the ones that are being sold to.
To yeah.
Yeah. So first off, designing for humans as clients. Organ center designs is the kind of designs that personally I don't like, because it doesn't give room for intentional movement, intentional consideration, right? For you to say, oh, what do my target audience feel connected to as a color palette? What do they feel connected to as a logo? When they see that logo, because even something as small as the corners of the logo communicates some, it makes you feel something based on cultural brand, right? So, and I'll give you an example. Like when you have barbed wire or something, or you have anything that has a pointy edge, you see it as
Yeah.
being masculine. You see it as tough. You see it as strong. But when you see something that is circular, that one is much more feminine. So that one is
Feminine.
that
Yeah.
anything that has curves is much more feminine. Anything that has curves is much more it talks about community, because even in real life, women tend to build stronger and lasting communities than men. That's just the way it is. If you see, I'm not talking about friendships now, I mean community, right? So when you don't consider all of those parameters, you don't consider those, it's hard for you to create something that you as a designer can be proud of. That's just assuming that you don't have your ego in play now, that on a purely emotional level. When you take away the centered thing out of the way, and you have removed your ego away. How do you design for human clients? I like to follow the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? So we have the need for, we usually start with the need for food, shelter, warmth, all those basic needs, right? And that one is out of the way. That's not the client's problem. You're not the one feeding them, right? The next thing on the pyramid, on the list, on the hierarchy, is security. Now, how do you make your clients feel secure with you? Most times when they come to you, they're just meeting you for the first time. They've only heard about you from somebody else, or they've only seen your portfolio, right? So how do we actually know that you are able to deliver what I need you to deliver? So you need to make them feel safe in your expertise by explaining their problem back to them and giving them a very favorable solution. Just like I did with that guy I mentioned, that hey, digital marketing, oh, okay, so I think you can go about it this way, you can blah 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 blah, and I can get you somebody that fits into your budget. That's me giving you solution that is not based on my own personal greed. So they need to make them feel safe in your expertise. When you explain, when you bring out a color and they're like, I don't like this green, and you can scientifically explain or emotionally explain why you are using that color, it makes them feel that, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. This woman knows what she's saying, right? So after the need for safety and good health on the hierarchy, the next thing is the need for connection. So how do you build connection with your clients? How do you help them build solid emotional connection to their audience using those designs that are created? The next thing on the hierarchy is respect. Respect is normal. That one is just it goes without saying in customer relations that you have to respect your client, you have to respect your craft, you have to respect your own self too. Because why you as a designer in this day and age collecting 10K for logo design? Can you just want to say something to you in physical? So you need to respect yourself, you need to respect your craft, and you also need to respect your client. That one just goes without saying, right? And then the top thing on the list, on the hierarchy, is self-actualization, right? And what does that look like in design? It means helping your clients meet the goals. The goal of this client is to attract people's attention to the sales that they are doing. So how can you use the principles of design to make sure that they meet their goal? Hierarchy. How can you use elements like color? How can you use things like contrast to make sure that it is drawn to the most important information? When the client says, "Oh, make this part bigger," you can explain to them and that making them feel safe in your expertise. Now, by saying, this information is what you want them to read first, because you want them to be able to take action. So if you put buy now bigger than shop in, I don't know, one other copy that doesn't align, they are able to see that first and take that action faster. Ability to show that, okay, using your design, you are able to meet their goals, and that the design that you have created fits nicely into the vision of the brand. Our vision is to connect with women between the ages of 25 to 34. Why are you using black and white then? Right? So all of those things is part of what you consider when you design for humans as clients. When you design for humans as target audience, it starts with market research. Understanding who you are even targeting in the first place, right? I did a complete brand strategy for a startup brand recently, and the guy was like, "Oh, so what's your first step?" I don't know whether it was supposed to be a test or something, but I told him, "Oh, we are going to do market research," and he was asking me, I was like, "Oh, we are going to go do a survey, go the questionnaire route. When we gather that information, I'll do the data analysis, and then we are able to decipher who our core audience are, and use that information to improve the use of the product, and that's the UI and UX of the product, and also improve, create a brand strategy around them and all of that." So one of the important parts of that strategy for me was target audience area. So I was able to to create 3 customer avatars according to the data that I got from the research that was done, right? So when you are designing for humans as audience, you need to be able to enter their mind. There's a psychological aspect to branding and marketing that we designers do not
True.
consider. We only focus most times on what our software can do. That's why when we're dragging Tola Labi the other time for what he said, I was just shaking my head because a lot of us, maybe later we can talk about that, but a lot of us, we started this design for our aesthetics, for beauty, for money, without understanding the technical aspect of it. So when Tola Labi was like, if you take away your software and you are still, and you say you're not a designer, I mean, you are not able to design, that you were never a designer to begin with. That's because design is all encompassing. Design is beyond what your software can do. So you need to understand the psychological aspect of brand and marketing. If you are a brand designer or a marketing designer, you need to understand the psychological aspect of UI UX. If that's the field you are in, if you're a product designer, you need to understand the psychological aspect of it. How do you, because you're selling to human beings. So how do they interact with this product on a almost spiritual level, on a psychological, emotional, physical, and spiritual level? How do they interact with products like this? You know, sometimes you see some people falling in love with products that they come in contact with. There was one brand I saw recently. I think they had their posters on Twitter and they had the links and all of that. So they were just launching. It's an online platform where you can buy food stuff and they will have it delivered to your house. So you can just pick what you want. And they said it's straight from the farm. So you can just pick. The designs were, oh my God, they were simple, but they were so, I don't even know what came over me. Like spirits don't enter my body. Trace to the link. The website was easy to navigate. You just get your card, blah blah blah. Everything was so seamless. The colors were attractive. They had this beautiful light green. They had this lovely leaf dark green. They had this popping orange. Then I had this other light pastel color.
I can hear the excitement in your voice.
So this is me now already influencing you on a one-on-one basis. You understand? For a brand that is not going to pay me for marketing.
Exactly.
That's how deep our design goes. So when we design for human beings, we need to understand what makes them tick. And it starts with data like their age, gender, cultural background, their profession, their location, their challenges, their likes, their dislikes, their goals in life, and all of that. So all those information, when we bring it together, we are not able to kind of hack the brain and the heart of our target audience. Then lastly is designing for human products, or humans as products.
As products.
And one of the greatest inventions that I've seen that sells human beings, and when I say sells human beings, I mean sell their data, sell their emotions, sell everything, is social media. When you have, Twitter used to be just images before. And when you want to watch a video, you click on the video, you watch the video, you move on, right? But now Twitter has incorporated infinity scroll in their videos. So once you open a video, you can actually continue scrolling to watch other videos. Before you know it, you have spent 4 hours.
Yes, that's true.
That thing was designed to keep you longer on the platform because you are the product that they're selling their advertisements to.
Exactly.
Platforms are having more video content. Instagram used to have only videos that you post on your timeline. Now they have Reels. Now they have OGTV. Now they have stories.
True.
They have all sorts. So all of those things makes us, look at how people are sold on a different level. Even the algorithm on places like TikTok, it serves you what you like.
Yes.
When you watch, let's say you watch video of cats today, like tomorrow they will give you like 3 more videos of cats. But before the next 1 month, cat has filled your timeline.
Yes.
Because they want to keep you longer on that platform. They want to keep you consuming what they are feeding you, and they want to keep, which is not, in marketing generally, it's not a bad thing, because we're not trying to sell marketing, right?
True.
It's just what it is, right? So the algorithm tells you what you like. interact with and keep it to be it is. So that's how we design for humans. We design for humans as if they are ones we are selling. We design for humans as they are the ones we are selling to, and we design for humans as the ones we are selling for. So that's client, audience, product.
Wow. Just wow. You were wanting to touch something, and let me just use this opportunity to say that. See, truly, just like you mentioned it quickly. Some of us actually just went into design because we loved it and we focused majorly on the aestheticism, like that's all. Right.
Yeah.
This concept you're really talking about in depth was something that was introduced much more far later. Even, let me just put it this way, like, of course it's with the journey is still a process, but then it looks like it was introduced at the close to the mid end, so to speak, in that timeline, because it was just about focusing on how to use the tools, focus on the principles of design, contrast, typography, colors, hierarchies, and all those things. Focus on that. But this part was sort of, in some ways, it shows. It shows in our designs. It tells that there's something like it. The aesthetics may be well checked, right? It's fine, yes. But then at the end of the day, it may not necessarily sell the products, because design for human was somehow not, it was left out. And it tells, it shows. And I want you to come in as an observer, right? This is not criticism. As an observer, you've been around the design community, specifically design NG community, for a long time, right? You've been around for a long time. As an observer, what would you say the design community is doing really well, and what would you suggest that we should work on and improve, because we're struggling in that part?
Design community in Nigeria is basically one of the most supportive that I've ever seen. They are very, very supportive. The industry itself is not necessarily beginner friendly, but the design community in Nigeria is very supportive, right? But we lack a systematic structure that teaches beginners. And because we lack that structure for beginners, we end up breeding incompetent intermediate and professional designers.
Wow.
Professional in this case is in quotes, because how are you as a professional designer not understanding what makes a design work? Oh, why are you using this element? You are not able to explain. You are not able to understand the technical aspect of design beyond how good it looks. Right? And there's a particular designer that I have in mind who is like all the rave. Oh wow, he's a fantastic photo manipulation. He's a one. Wow. But when I look at the design that he has created and I look at the functionality of it, I just realized that this thing looks beautiful, but it's not useful. So the value that he is giving is being given to other designers, and those ones are swallowing it hook, line, and sinker, believing that, oh yes, this is who I and what I want to be. But when you put that design side by side other designers outside the country, you realize that his looks really good. His has a lot of action, a lot of gege, but not useful to the actual target audience. Because what exactly is the use of your design that looks good, but is not able to bring in the results, which is help our target audience to bring their money. Help our target audience to be loyal to our brand. Help our brand be top of mind, every single time. So when you think toothpaste, the first thing you think is, oh, what? Close up. When you think detergent, the first thing you think, oh, Ariel, oh, sunlight. When you think what are they calling that thing? Bleach. First thing you think is, oh, hypo.
Hypo.
So how do you help us using your design skills get to that point? What are the things that you need to proper? So all that systematic teaching that starts with the foundation of design, that starts with the history of design, because you need to understand what has happened before, which is history. You need to understand what is happening now, which is the present, so that you can be able to project properly for the future. So there's that process, that system that is lacking heavily in Nigeria. I was talking to somebody recently, in fact, yesterday. He reached out to me and was in the industry for 6 years, and he's looking at his progress and he's wondering, is he wasting his time? He's not doing what he's supposed to do. And I asked him a couple of leading questions that made me understand that, okay, this guy is a victim of this lack of system that we have or don't have in this Nigeria, right? Because, where did you learn graphic design? YouTube. Okay, that's not bad in the grand scheme of things. That's not bad. But does YouTube take you from A to B, then from B to C, then from C to D? It doesn't. YouTube can teach you A and then teach you Z, then come back and teach you I and teach you L.
Very true.
So it's just all over the place. And then you as a beginner that has never been in this industry before, you don't understand how to piece it together from A to B to C like that. So you need somebody or a system that is able to take you from point A to B, from point B to C, that's able to give you the reason, that's able to lead you to think about the reason why you do what you do. This circle that you use in this thing, what does it mean? What does it reflect? This color blue that you use, what does it say? Do you get? All of those things are necessary, right? Now, what do we do here that is good? We are supportive of each other, one, right? But we lack a system. Another thing that we do that is good is that we are very creative. I was talking with somebody, a client from Wales in the US, and the person, I didn't know that he was in the US, to be honest. I didn't even care, but he's outside the country. So he was like, "Oh my God, there are so many creative designers in Nigeria." And then he said something that I absolutely agree with. He said, "But they don't have technical know-how." And what he meant by the technical aspect of design is understanding basically the let me call it the back end, the behind the scene, like all those psychology marketing things that I was talking about, understanding copywriting, understanding how business decisions are made and how it affects the target audience and how that can reflect in your design, right? Understanding color emotions, understanding color psychology, understanding color systems. On color alone, well, like, if you want to spend the entire year learning about color, you will still need more time after 1 year.
Wow.
That's how deep it is. If you want to spend time learning about shapes, you will enter into maths. You will come out, you still need one more extra year again. So they don't know all those back end things, but they are very creative with how they apply the elements of design. Oh, you want a goat on a mountain? I can manipulate it for you. But what does that communicate exactly? What does that say? She gets. So they lack technical know-how, but they are creative, right? Another thing that we designers in Nigeria as a whole, we really, really, have on a high level is drive. We are hungry for more. We are great at what we do when we want to do them. We are hungry for better. We are hungry for greater. We are hungry for, we want more. We want more every single time, especially when we see other people online doing what they are doing. When I post what I post, I'm sure it pushes some people to go back and relearn what they already know.
Yeah.
But we lack worldview. And where does worldview come from? Worldview comes from you being in the room where some certain conversations are happening. That one is not necessarily our fault, but it's just something we are lacking. So what does that mean? When I started working at BCM, there are a lot of things that I didn't know, but I thought I knew. But when I was now in the midst of designers that are seasoned, spicy designers where they don't put salt, maggi, better meat, they don't put original oil from Enugu State. They put them for the soup sweet. That's when we understand design on a spiritual level. That's when they began to explain to me what process means. Or that process I explained, it came from me working at BCM. I did not know that I needed or wanted or whatever a process before. I just know that, okay, I did design. Also, okay, let idea just come to you and you just, create something. That's what I genuinely thought, was the thing, was the happening thing. That's what we needed to do. But it's not just about sitting down and thinking about an idea and implementing it. There's a whole lot of things that I've already explained that goes on before you even touch your software. So that worldview in quotes came to me when I was in the room with these designers, when I was in the thick of it, I was in the I don't want to say in the trenches, like I was inside the project with them. The Moonshot project alone, by TechCabal project alone, was mind opening for me, because one thing about BigCabal is they allow you to enter anywhere. Like, as if you want to go to where the business development team is doing what they are doing, you can go there and see what they are doing. If you want to go to where the finance people are doing what they are doing, you go there. If you ask them for, the breakdown of how much you have spent in the event, how much you are going to spend, the clients you are reaching out to, where they are from, all those information is available to you as a staff. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. Because nothing is hidden, I'm able to see the back end of Zikoko as a media publication, the back end of TechCabal as a media publication, the considerations that go into it, the research, the extent of research that TechCabal does before they do some things, the extent of research that TechCabal Insights and Zikoko does, how they sit down and cook the ideas. You have access to all of these things. If I wasn't working in BCM, I will not have access to that room where worldview is expanding for me. I'm sure that if I start working with an organization outside the country, I will also be able to gain knowledge of that worldview over there in that room.
True.
So yes, we have drive, we want to, but we have worldview, the ability to sit down and think, ability to sit down and reason. And get this, people that are able to sit down and think are the people that make the most money. Designers think that the people that make money are the ones that are able to design again. But the ones that are able to sit down and think are the ones that actually make the cool cash. Because if you are able to sit down and think, you are able to think far. You are able to create scenarios that on normal day, you are a fast-paced designer that you just enter start designing, are able to think deeper than the regular people. Your mind is expanded beyond what other people are doing. So that is basically my own observation as a gentle girl in this industry.
Wow. You have broken tables, so you have broken tables.
I did not do anything.
I was actually I was actually going to say, in our defense, right? Most designers, especially in Nigeria, most of us started out on YouTube. And just like you said, YouTube can teach you A, go and teach you Z, come back and teach you I. There's no streamlined, well curated pattern to follow. So I was actually going to say, especially in our defense, but then you touched on it, you broke the table, you used the leg and do firewood, and you kept it burning. And which will lead me to ask, right? We have you touched quite a number of things. The Nigeria design community has a lot of support, which may not necessarily be friendly to us newbies, but then we lack a very systematic learning approach to, especially again, to us newbies. It looks like we don't have a pattern that one can follow with due diligence that say this is exactly, and step by step. It looks like every man is just doing what they feel is right. After all, there's YouTube and the likes of that. And truly, and I think this is one of the things that limit us, because I know if we go to the western part of the world, they have schools, right? Even in their universities where designs are taught, the syllabus may be different, but the curriculums are the same, right? They're following the same thing, they're teaching the same basic thing. That's why it looks like, these guys are there, because they are. And the Nigerian design community has a lot of creative. We can be very creative with has a lot of creativity. Sorry, we can be very
Yeah.
creative with our own doings, but then when it comes to technical know-how, right,
Mm-hmm.
we struggle. We struggle, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of drive. We get easily inspired, quickly motivated, but when it comes to actually knowing worldview, we don't know. And you mentioned something about specifically worldview. That point, knowing certain things, knowing maybe things like the business of designs, understanding stakeholders, and everything that involves in between, not just everything that goes outside the software. This is not even related to the software,
Yeah.
which you talk about. We have to be able to be present at some certain tables where some
Yeah.
certain conversations
That
are made.
happening. Absolutely.
And Adaeze, this is a struggle. It's a big struggle. How can I tell the newbie who, let's say, lives in one of the rural parts of Lagos, who's just trying to pick up a laptop to learn, and YouTube is his or her friend, and they are trying to post their work, and they are running on this race, on this lane of YouTube design for, let's say, for the space of 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they've never had that opportunity, because not every designer, and I'm not trying to defend some certain designers. No, I'm not trying to defend. We're actually stating the obvious. These are actually
Yeah.
raw facts. Most of us don't have the opportunity to sit at desk to hear certain kind of conversations that would open our mind and broaden our understanding that design is beyond Photoshop, it's beyond Figma, it's beyond the whole Adobe suite.
Yeah.
How do we get to that table? Okay, maybe I don't want to sit. How do I stay under? Let me be under the table. If people should sit around the table, let me just be under. How do we get to that spot? How do we get such opportunities?
Okay. I'm going to come at it from a very traditional or cultural level
Okay.
perspective. In Igbo land, there's something
Mm-hmm.
that I absolutely love about us. If one Igbo man comes to
Mm-hmm.
where do you stay? Okay. If one Igbo man comes to market and sets up his
Mm-hmm.
shop, I promise you within the next 5 years, you have up to 10 other Igbo men there.
True. Very
You know,
true. Very
because
true.
when he opens his shop, he will take some time and learn the ropes of the area, learn where he will buy market, learn how he sells the market, how much the market is, how to shade the market, he learns all the ropes. And he looks for someone from the village or somebody from other like or something, brings the person in as an apprentice for a period of 2 to 3 years, shows the person the
Mm-hmm.
rope. After the apprenticeship era is over, he gives is a law, right? He gives
Yeah.
the person enough money to go and start his own business. In fact, the
True.
person can even open shop right next to him. He doesn't mind. But shall start something. When that one starts, he stays and stabilizes himself for like a year or two. Then he brings an apprentice
Mm-hmm.
too and goes to them.
Yes.
Before you know it, over a couple of years, we have
Hmm.
a high influx of Igbo men, or let's say Igbo people
Yes.
generally, in that area
Mm-hmm.
that are selling almost the same thing, or maybe different things,
Yes.
depends on the individual. That's the system,
Mm-hmm.
that's the community that we have as Nigerians that we build for ourselves, right? Now, in this
Yeah.
case, it also applies. So I have been
Mm.
able to sit at some set tables that maybe the average designer in the rural area may not have sat at. But if the average designer in that rural area has access to me, it is my responsibility in this ecosystem that does not that that is not being helped by the outside world, that we need to help ourselves. It is my responsibility to have these conversations. Ubonsi, I don't reject teaching or speaking engagement, no matter how busy I
Yeah.
am, because I know it is an opportunity for me to connect with people that have not been where I have been, people that have not seen what I have seen, heard what I have heard, felt what I have felt. so I can give them all the knowledge that I am able to like release onto them for free
Yeah.
and say, go ahead, do this way, da 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 da. So don't even worry. I've done this, blah, 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 I did it this way. Like I tell you, oh, this is my process. I also tell you, go ahead and test it. If it works for you, it works for you. Because having a strong process has cured creative block completely. Almost over a year now. Before I used to have creative block consistently, but now I've not even experienced it in a while. Ever since I started working in BC, in TechCabal media. That's because in that room, they taught me I can take that knowledge and teach other people so they're able to avoid mistakes, obstacles I have crossed. That's what we are supposed to do. We as the gurus in smart designers in quotes, we have the responsibility of going to drawing, arranging our life, even if on the right come and pass, not for gain, find more recognition, not that the fact that we need ourselves up. Nobody is going to do it for us. That's the African story. Nobody does it for us.
Yeah.
What do is they come and take. A lot of foreign companies hire Africa. It's because we are cheap. So they come and take talent, they come and take time, they take energy, they take our resources, they take people, they take our knowledge, they take everything. The only we have is our source. We our culture, we have our way of life. That's the thing that's going to help us to rise above all the things that is happening. So if I have learned something, it is my responsibility. I don't need to share everything because I know people be like, so I should not go and tell you how I did. Okay, you know what, I'll keep your secret. But at least to some extent, give other people guidance and say, oh, this is how I did my own. Answer questions on Twitter. Oh, I'm having trouble answering. The best ability. Like already doing with large some extent. I don't think the Nigeria keeps version. To some extent it keep honest, but we had couple of years and it's interesting to see. So I think that's what we do. We can hold each other, you know that when you want to do that, you hold hands in a circle. That's what we need to do. We need to hold hands. Hold each other, raise each other up.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I would love to also use this opportunity to draw the attention of as many, senior designers and experienced designers also out there. Firstly, to the senior and experienced designers, let this be as a plea, a cry for help that we do not leave ourselves right out and just open attack on one end, right? For every knowledge you can share, please do. For every space you can contribute value, every question you can ask, whether it be directed to you or not, so long it's open on there, please drop your 2 cents. Who go pick the cent, go pick them. Who would pick it, will pick it, please. Yeah, and also to the other side, also we newbies also who are also coming up in this game, please let us ask questions. No man is an island. Let us ask questions. Let us ask questions. Let us ask questions. Please ask questions. Right? What is this? What is that? Where is this? Where is that? Please let us ask questions as well. This has to be both ways. It is both ways. I'm quite emotional right now, honestly, and I don't know why, because this whole thing you're saying, and I'm glad to be able to have this conversation with you. Honestly, I am, because there's a lot who, and in as much as this may sound, off, but it's true. There's a lot who are actually running on wheels on this design thing. Like
Yeah.
the tires are flat, but they are still
Mm-hmm.
pushing because we have to give the narrative that we're doing something well, we're doing
Yeah.
something good. Yeah, let us please help. Let us help and in the best way we can, and let us also ask for help in the best way we can. And speaking about asking for help and utilizing social media, I want you to touch on you have a very unapologetic way of sharing your works across social platform. Like Adaeze no send who be you, he go post up. If you like the manipulation and she would share it. So I want you to talk about that courage because there's something about imposter syndrome. Man, I no go post. I made no see my work now rubbish. Let me not drop this one. I made no say. So I want you to touch on that a little also.
Okay. So I think me deciding to post my work start from understanding the kind of environment that we are living in right now, which is an
Mm-hmm.
environment where everybody is wanting to be seen, everybody wants to be heard. There's a lot of
Yeah.
noise, a lot of brands are trying to get your attention. Yeah, and you're trying to get the attention of other brands. You and like 2 million people are doing the exact same thing, and you are looking for ways to stamp your identity and leave your footprint in the sand of time and all those things.
Yeah.
So that it was just one day I was just thinking about it that way too. I but I they bring Gary inside house. I fear. Nobody's seeing me. She gets. I will do
Yeah.
work finish. I'll look at it that, oh, it's nice. I'll not keep it in my pocket. Why? Why?
Hmm.
She gets. So I think one of the reasons
Yeah.
why people are scared to post on social media is because like, oh yeah, what will people say? Mama,
Yeah.
oh, see, okay,
Oh.
let me just dial it down a little bit. Because this is something I'm actually passionate about. I tell people, I say
Hmm.
shamelessly post them. I say you can
No
even have mistakes.
apologies.
Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
There's something I put there. There's a brand identity work I posted yesterday. That thing has mistake. I don't know whether anybody will find it or not. I posted it like that because I was like, who asked me to go and start correcting this thing like this now? If you find a mistake, good for you. You now you they do
Mm-hmm.
this thing. What do they call that
Design
thing?
criticism.
Be
Now
that
you
be that
sabi.
ultimate touch. Where you go to start from it. Now you know. Sure you get. But at the same
Yeah.
time, my posting regularly on social media is also it also comes from um my goals in general, right? I'm gunning for three things in this world. I want to build communities, I want to build influence, and I want to build wealth, right? And one of the currencies that makes all of these things happen really fast is attention. So if you want to get attention, you need to be able to master consistency, not excellence, consistency.
Yeah.
So you can be having, I've seen people that have like, what's a design, join. Like, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
we
See
should
no join.
that designer, connect, join. But because keep showing up every day, people are like, hey, my master,
Hmm.
teach me your ways.
Yeah.
So you get,
Hmm. Yeah.
if I build community, I need people to be in that community. I need people to see that I know what I'm doing and I'm what I say I will do. Or I'm doing what like I'm practicing and showing the value that they want to see in themselves in coming years. And
Yeah.
that means I need to show up daily. I don't need to show up perfect. I need to show up daily. I want to build influence. That means I need to be able to dish out value so that people see me as an authority in this field.
Yes.
I need to build wealth. How do I do that? Okay, me and Chisa and you and Julie and everybody, they are fighting inside the same pot every day. You are
Mm-hmm.
reaching our hand from inside the pot. Pick me, pick me. Let's say like all of us are
Yes.
fried meat inside that
Mm-hmm.
pot, right? And client is coming with their spoon to come and take stew and meat. All of us are vying for
Yes.
attention. Hey, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me.
Mm-hmm.
How do I make sure that I stand out well enough that they are able to pick me and pay me well? That comes from showing up at all, showing up and being there like, oh, I saw your work on I was talking to somebody yesterday night. I just called to check on him, and I was telling him about how I'm searching for foreign opportunities and all of that. He was like, I saw your work. That's one thing he said. I saw your work on. I used to see your work on LinkedIn. Just keep posting. And I was like, oh, you see my work on LinkedIn? Yeah. Another person tell me, I saw your work on WhatsApp. See, if I can put it in your eyes, I will put it. My work, my posters, my design, photo manipulation. If I can come and press it into your eye physically, I will. So I post on WhatsApp status. I post on WhatsApp. I post on Telegram communities. I post on Twitter, LinkedIn, everything I post there. Sometimes I even post on Behance as work in progress. Because I know that I need to spread my net. So even if I can catch one big fish, which is like a big net or something, post with me now. So you get. So
yeah.
What my advice to people who want to post consistently is, I know that imposter syndrome can be a sometimes, and I sometimes, so a lot of the time what you need is not somebody to tell this is how you defeat it, this is how you overcome it, you have to provide, you have to be brave. Sometimes how is to be there, but still do what you need to do it afraid. Let me say it 3 times. Do it afraid. Do it with the fear inside your chest. Do it afraid. You're afraid to post and like that and run it off your turn your phone to airplane mode. Post and run and leave the remaining one for us.
Wow.
So yeah, that's basically what I would say to anybody who's having. Sometimes what you need is not I'll get over it. Sometimes just stay there. It's fine. Over time it will go by itself. But just still do what you need to do even while you are afraid.
Do it afraid. Do it afraid. Imposter syndrome is truly a thing. Almost everybody who, almost all designers at some point in time had imposter syndrome with at least one. At least there was one time. At least one. But, we keep posting. We can't be at the fear, at the drink, wow. I go wrong with that quote this 2024. No, I was wrong with that quote this 2024. Do it afraid. It's one of those things that would come along the day of, and sometimes growth can even be responsible for the imposter syndrome. Growth can be very responsible for imposter syndrome sometimes.
Yeah.
So let's do it afraid. Adaeze, you have actually shared insightful, and I really can, and I do listen to all of my podcasts when they're out, but this one, oh my, twice. I would listen to this on Spotify, I would listen to this again on Apple Podcasts, and I would listen to this again on Google Podcasts. This is my notes are filled up. Are they right? As you talk, are they right? And thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much. Closing thoughts. I want you to cut soap for us. Drop advice for aspiring designers that are listening to this podcast. No questions, no restriction. Just do you.
I'm going to be speaking to designers in Nigeria, and I want to start off by saying that I completely understand, right? That sometimes it feels like we are fighting a losing battle, and there are a lot of things that are against us, right? We try to look for jobs outside the country, it does not work out. We try to look for jobs inside the country, it does not work out, or you find a job and the employer is treating you like you are begging for the money and all of that, or you can't even find a job at all. A lot of things are warring against us, right? But I would say that do not stay down for long. Secondly, I would say if design is not working, and I know that this is controversial, if design is not working, look for what works. At the end of the day, now make you shall chop. Now be the first thing. Maslow's hierarchy of need. You first of all eat, and you will have a roof over your head before you now start thinking, oh, I want to have influence to build community. You go first chop, right? So allow yourself to look at things from a holistic perspective. One of the things that I told that guy that came to me the other that I was having a meeting with yesterday was, if design is not working, you say you study one thing. If design is not working, maybe you should look for how you can go back to what you studied. Well, even if it's you want to learn it. Then secondly, if you want to learn design, please do it with your full chest, meaning do it well. Do it exceptionally. Do it systematically. If you don't know how, you can reach out to people that have gone ahead of you, or you can go to courses online and look at their curriculum and follow the process of even if you're not able to pay for those courses, you can look at the curriculum and say, okay, I need to learn this one today. Okay, let me go and search for the video on YouTube and learn it. I need to learn this one next. Let me go and look for the video on YouTube and learn it. So that at least you have some sort of foundation, despite the fact that you're not able to like pay for the actual class, right? So that's secondly. Now, after you have learned all of these things, go beyond learning about design. Learn other soft skills that will add to what you already know. Learn about copywriting, learn about client management, learn about business development, learn about psychology, learn about advertising and those advertising platforms, what they entail and all of that. Learn all those, other additional skills that will help you understand business in general, not just design. So that's when you now start charging, or you need to do some certain contracts or some certain documentation, you are able to do it effectively. Lastly, I wish you the best. See, I tell people, I say, if you want my blood, I can give you small blood, right? If it's good, if you want knowledge, I will give you. If you want my document, I will give you, right? Because I truly believe that the sky is big enough for all kinds of birds to fly. You chop, no mean say I no go chop. I chop, no mean say you no go chop. There's someone for everyone. There's a client for everybody. Check it. So I'm not even struggling with any, but I have no stuff. I'm eating well. I'm okay. And I wish you will eat well as well. So if what I'm doing that is making me eat well can help you, I'm willing to, surrender some of it so that you too you can eat well. Right. So, and I want that to also apply to when you get to a point where you are eating well too. You should show the other people the ropes. Learn that we are in Nigeria and we are our own help. When we cry for help, now we go still answer ourselves, right?
Yes.
We need to assist each other. We need to assist each other. We need to do our best for ourselves. And I sign out by saying that it's been an amazing experience teaching generally, and it's been awesome, having this discussion. I want us to have more of this kind of discussions because change starts with conversation. Change starts with realization of the problem and then conversation. But once conversation starts to happen, especially on a large scale, we already know that change is coming. Like actual change is coming, right? So the best. Once again, my name is Chukwu Adaeze Victoria. I'm a brand and marketing designer, and it's been an awesome time on Designstration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You don't know how glad I am for the opportunity to do this. Thank you so much, Adaeze. See, me, I will call you again. I will come back. I will call you again. Honestly, we are going to call you again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for pouring out your heart to us. Thank you for giving us more of your blood. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been really refreshing for me, and I'm truly hoping that someone gain value from this conversation today and apply principles and things that has been said. Things that need to be corrected should be corrected. Things that need to be upgraded should also be upgraded. Thank you very much, Adaeze. It's been a pleasure having you on this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode on the Designstration podcast with Ufot Ubon. If you enjoyed this episode, kindly leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. You can also suggest a topic or ask a question by filling out the form in the description below. We also appreciate when you share this podcast with friends and other creatives, even as you make plans to join us again next time, as we bring you more insightful conversations like this. Design plus illustration equals Designstration.